Coming to you from the kitchen/podcast studio on the south coast of England in Brighton, this is the 200 to £100,000 Challenge podcast, your go-to hub for no-nonsense content and absolutely no false promises of passive incomes or getting rich quick. So settle in and join your host Des Hamilton to find out exactly how to say goodbye to being poor and hello to being rich. Sponsored by Seller Amp, sourcing analysis simplified.
Here we go. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm not going to call it what we used to call it, even though the voiceover still did call it that. We're in that weird little phase where we are in transition from what was to what will be. The rebrand. We're going to be the Goodbye Poor Hello Rich show. That's it. I know at the moment we are here we go, 200 to £100,000 Challenge podcast, but we completed it. Yeah, completed it, mate. You know, so we are just in that little phase at the moment where I need to get Robin in to redo the voiceover, bless her, and we need to make sure that everything else is seamless in the background. But for now, welcome to the show. I'm still the same guy. I'm still Des Hamilton, and I am here ready to continue this brand, this business, and take it, come on, say it with me, to the moon. Last week was insane. We are still riding that wave. How on earth have we got to number 11 in the entrepreneur chart on Apple Podcasts? Number 11. You don't even have to go into the category anymore. You go to the entrepreneur category. You don't have to click top shows. I'm on that top bar. What am I doing there? And the names that I'm surrounded by are people, again, that are levels and levels and levels above me in terms of their business. But it turns out, in terms of podcasting, I'm amongst them. Come and have a word with me and I'll show you where you're going wrong, boys. It's just unbelievable. So here I am, number 11 on the podcast charts, and we peaked at number 65 in the world in the business category when we were in there with Steve Bartlett. So I'm thinking, right, I'm going to rebrand. Let's have a listen to their shows and see what sort of things I can do to improve mine, because constantly learning, right? Continuous learning, feedback. It's the breakfast of champions. So I went on there. It's all very stoic and serious, isn't it? Have you noticed? Hi, welcome back. And today we're going to discuss should traffic wardens be armed. What? Do me a favour. Where's the fun gone? I'm not changing this show because what it's done is get me to where I am within a year. Less than a year. I am breaking down levels from what can be achieved with an at-home podcast. And I'm arrogant when I say this, I know I am, and I'm setting myself up for a big fall because I have no doubt that we are not going to stay number 10 or 11 for long, but I will be back. And when I do come back, I'm coming back with a vengeance, and I'm sticking around because I'm not going anywhere. This show is something that I'm going to aspire to be the best it can be, and we are changing lives on this show. We are. With the things that we're doing, the community that we're building, the inspiration we're throwing out there for people. When you see someone like me who took £200 and is turning it into over £100,000 in less than 2 years, people are changing their lives, and I'm getting feedback. You've inspired me to start. Because of you, I realised there was a better life for me. I love it. And look, you can see how animated I am. I'm so buzzing about what's coming. There are some fantastic people being booked for this show at the moment. People are taking notice, and I can't wait. But let's keep things the way they are. I'm going to treat every guest the same way I've always treated them. I'm going to treat you, my audience, the same way I've always treated you, because I'm the guy you can relate to. That's the whole point. I'm not an expert. I'm not yet a multi-millionaire, but I am a guy that can show you what can be achieved, whether I'm 2 or 20 steps ahead of you. I am embedded in my roots. I'm a working class guy who is making it good off of his own back using these methods. And my purpose is to help people do the same. I've got to figure out a way that I can make money off the back of that, but that's on me. I'm still driven to helping people, so that's what we're going to do. Right. Let's get into the show, shall we? We are here today to talk with Ahmed Shakawi. You all know Ahmed. If you're in my Facebook group, the chances are you're in his. Ahmed is a truly, truly inspirational story. And I've kind of been waiting for a good reason to put this one on. And the rebrand is the perfect start, the perfect reason, and the perfect showcase for showing off Ahmed. He is a guy from Romania who came across to the UK, dabbled a little bit in private label while he was over in the UK. I'm not going to spoil the story here. But importantly, came here to the UK and got a job in the Amazon warehouses. Then he decided, you know what, that's not for me. And now he is flying. He's not where he wants to be, but that's the beauty of this show. We can check back in with him in a few months' time and he will be closer to where he wants to be. I promise you that. He is an inspiration of a guy that has built this business, grown it, then given back every single step of the way. Ahmed isn't a guy that sells a course. He's a guy that tells you you do not buy a course, you follow him and he will tell you for free. How could you not love that about the guy? On top of that, he's a cracking personality. He's really funny. When I asked him, look, mate, how best do I pronounce your name so I don't do you a disservice? And he said, call me the blood immigrant. I love that. I love it. But this story is inspirational because, again, it shows you what can be achieved. He came in from another country working in the warehouses and now he is out. He is free. He's got 3 kids, number 4 on the way. He's thinking about going to a different country, but here he is on e-commerce, absolutely smashing it. And I can't wait for you to hear this story because there are some little bits on there that simply blow your mind. Look, precursor, we did that classic thing. I say we, me. We started doing the interview and about 20 minutes in, I realised I hadn't pushed record. Whoops. Right, that's enough of me. Get into it, the other side. Roll it. Ahmed, thank you for coming onto the show. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be fully transparent for everyone that's listening. This is the second time I've introduced Ahmed on here. We did about 10 minutes worth and then realised that it wasn't recording. But we are back. Trust me when I tell you this, Ahmed's got a great story. We're going to rattle through this again. Ahmed, please talk us through your story, how you got started.
Okay, first of all, hi everyone who's watching. Yes, we're doing this for the second time, but no problem. I feel great here talking to you. So a bit about myself, right? I will go back since I was in Romania, where I found out about selling on Amazon, but everything was about private label. I was working for £150 a month, full-time job, and I was looking to private label. And I said, that's too much. Like, if you want to start private label, you need about 20, 30,000 to get started. That's not for me. I don't have that much money. So I gave up on that. I came to the UK. I had few jobs. And I said, here I'm earning more money. So it might be a higher chance for me to start an online business selling on Amazon. One of my jobs was in Amazon. I started as a picker, packer. And while I was doing hard job in Amazon, for whoever worked in Amazon knows, can relate to that. One of my jobs was something I forgot the second name. The job was like I had to bring pallets full of totes. 8 hours a day I was pulling pallets of totes to the packers, people who sit at a computer station, scanning products and then putting them in the totes and wherever they go, so to packing or whatever. Anyway, I get to too many details. So I was pulling pallets all day, 8 hours a day, and I had a lot of physical pain. I was thinking, people like sellers, I knew that what I'm doing here is for other sellers who are just sitting home, sleeping, most likely simply because I was doing night shift most of the time. And they're making money while sleeping, and I'm here working for them for minimum wage. So I want more from myself. So I started looking again into Amazon, but again I started private label. Then I came across 2 YouTube channels, Luke Filler and Kev Blackburn, and they were talking about online arbitrage. I said, hold on, this is for me. Online arbitrage. You buy from Tesco, you buy from retailers, Asda, Argos, and you can get started with a few £1,000s. That's amazing. I need to do that. I've studied online arbitrage for about a year. While I was studying for online arbitrage, I was working as a lorry driver for DPD. I worked for them like 4 or 5 years. And after a year, I bought the first deals from Fast Track FBA. I've spent about £1,000, and this is how I got started. 2021 January, when I sent my first shipment, 4 small boxes. But I want to add something else here. I had 4 small boxes. It took me, so I started around 7, 8 p.m. and I finished in the morning 4, 5 a.m. I finished, I went to sleep, I woke up, and I was suspended, Section 3. I said I didn't even sell anything. So I just uploaded the invoice. I had the invoice from the supplier that everyone was using for getting Harrison's. Yes.
Yeah.
They asked me they suspended me for some Haribo stuff, which I used to get ungated in grocery. I uploaded the invoice. After a few hours, boom, my account is back. Not like now, you are being interrogated by CIBI. What have you done? Where did you buy this from? You're talking to someone on the screen, black screen, don't see who you're talking to. It's not like now. I got my account back after a few hours. I went to the post office, dropped the parcels, and this is how I started. I'm not sure if I mentioned the date, 2021. Right now, I'm a 7-figure seller selling in the United States, looking into other marketplaces. I used to sell in the UK. I used to sell in Germany, but I realized that it's better for me to sell in the United States.
Amazing. There is a lot to unpick from this. First of all, the fact that, number one, you started in Romania and you knew what Amazon was. What year was that, by the way, when you were in Romania?
Say again, sorry.
What year were you when you decided when you were in Romania and you first started looking?
Oh, what year? I can't remember, to be honest, but maybe. So I came in the UK 2015, just in the like year before, 2 years before, something like that.
Yeah. That's early, really, isn't it, to think about selling on Amazon? Because back then it wasn't overly well known. That's quite amazing. And then to go from being in the warehouse, fascinating. That's the headline for the show already. You're the guy that worked in the warehouse and now you're a 7-figure seller. That's incredible. So really, really good for you. Really interested in the way you did it, because it's fairly similar to how I looked at it when I first became aware of Amazon. I found myself going down a private label route. And I brought samples. I found a product that I knew was doing well. I brought a sample in, 50 odd pound just in shipping. The sample itself was free, but the shipping was 50 quid. And then I realized that the sample wasn't very good, but then I needed another sample. And I'm thinking, I'm throwing £200 away here. And I'm not even close to putting an order in. And I had the exact same thought as you. I haven't got the money to launch a private label product. Never in a million years. What I love, though, is that when you came over and you went, I'm going to do Amazon again, you looked again at private label. Did you actually get anywhere with it? Did you launch anything?
No, apart of just starting the business model, I didn't do anything. It wasn't for me.
No, fair enough. No, I understand. I completely understand. So when you sent those 4 boxes in, how did they perform?
Oh, I think yes. I'm not sure exactly what I was doing at that moment, but I was seeing sales. I was seeing profit. I guess I was doing well. I learned by doing things. Yes, I studied online. I was watching videos, but I truly learn when I do it. I practice. I do the thing. Yes. However, the whole journey was a great journey. I made lots of mistakes. Thanks to God, I didn't make any really bad mistakes. Just silly mistakes like buying the wrong deals or buying too much. I was quite lucky. Maybe I was lucky because I did a lot of studies and a lot of networking.
I just wrote that down. I just wrote that exact down. I think to give you the credit there, you've said quite openly you researched a lot. That would have minimized your mistakes 100%.
Yes.
And again, you're an educated guy as well. That makes a big difference.
Yes. And the best part is I did everything for free. I mean, I didn't pay money to courses. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I learned from YouTube until, after I started, I noticed that it's working. Yes, I started investing in my education, courses and stuff because I wanted to scale it up. But in the beginning, I just relied on YouTube. If I was to start again, and if I had money, yes, I would pay for a good course because it's all about speed in the end. And on YouTube, you can find a lot of information, but you have to connect the dots. You can't really find everything in one place. If you go to YouTube and search for online arbitrage course, you'll find titles like full online arbitrage course, but those full is not full at all. It's like 1%. So having a mentor is really great, a good mentor. But I try to do everything with as little money as possible because I didn't really have money.
Mate, I relate to you so much. It's ridiculous. I started the exact same way. And I found out that arbitrage was a thing. And I looked at how much money that I had to throw into this thing. And I only had a couple of £100 to throw into this thing, but I researched it for months. We started thinking about making money online in January 2021. Funny enough, 2022, a year after you got started. I got married New Year's Eve 2021. And then we went on honeymoon, and it was in the honeymoon that we started talking about how we were going to make money online. And I researched for the best part of 6 months because I didn't have the money to educate. I didn't have the money to spend it on a mentor or a training program. I found Emma Hamilton on YouTube.
Yes.
And Thomas Parkinson and Hayden and these guys. And again, I think Emma had something like an hour and a half live YouTube called Full Amazon Package. But all it did was introduce you to what Amazon was. But that was all you needed, really. And then you knew how to get going. But I agree with you. If I had the money now that I've got, I could go back and I would say, right, I probably would do it to learn quicker and then to make. And I didn't, same as you, I didn't make many massive mistakes. I made a few, but they would have been eliminated if I'd bought from a mentor early on as well. And now I have got the money. I've invested in a lot of people. Natalie's my mentor now. I've bought a proper private label course and I'm going down a proper private label route. I'm in the Hive, all of that stuff, you know. But it's, I think it is important. But I think that is the overriding story I want to tell everyone. And I say this as a person that sells a course for beginners. You don't need to buy a course, but you do need to give yourself more time to research it and tread lightly as you go into it too.
Yes, exactly. Definitely, 100%.
Oh, I love it. But it's really great. So when you were making these little mistakes and you were going along, what was it in your mindset that was so resolute that I know this is the correct path?
Okay. Something that I've done from the beginning of my journey was to surround myself with better people than me, better in knowledge. And I was always verifying with them, either in private or in public, because I said, I might make mistakes. So I might watch some videos or I might get some information from forums and Facebook groups, but I really need to speak with someone who really knows what he's doing. You mentioned Natalie. I think the first course, paid course, which is ongoing training, basically Hive. Before it was, the name was Elite Seller.
Beyond the Bible. Sorry.
Yeah, Elite Seller Academy. So I joined them, and till now I'm still a member. Yeah, now it's Hive, but I've been member for years because I said, I need to take it to the next level. So when I was making mistakes, I was not sure about what's the solution or what exactly was wrong. I always was asking either public or in private. So this is the way, what was wrong. Yes. Like a few days ago, I messaged my good friend Gavin because my business now it's in a recovery mode. I made some mistakes. Last year, I spent a lot of money because I was taking lots of loans like most of the sellers, or at least the sellers that I know, which are massive. And we were competing who's taking the biggest loans. Like I have a private group. Yes. I'm not going to give the names now, but we are competing who are making the most money. But it's a nice competition. So I was running my business on loans. And when you just have a lot of income, which are not actually your money, are bank money, you'll feel like if you don't have a really great financial education, you'll believe the same I did, which is wrong. I have a lot of money, but they are not yours. So I'm investing a lot. I was making a lot of money, like never before. Remember, I used to work for £150, and then last year I woke up making £20,000 in profit a month, which, wow, that's too much. I didn't know what to make with all this money. So I started spending holidays, buying gold, buying gifts, going everywhere, only business class. Even from here to Romania, I was booking business class, which is only 3 hours flight. It's a waste of money, to be honest, but no financial education, too excited, loans coming in all the time. And now I realized that in the past few months, I stopped taking loans. I'm debt free right now as we speak, which is great. And I have between $150,000-$200,000 in worth of stock. like cost of goods, which is great because I started this business with credit cards. Again, not my money. And I realized that my business is suffering now because I overspent. That's a big problem when you overspend. And I realized this only now when I stopped taking loans because, oh, wait, I'm
Yeah.
suffering. Actually, I'm suffering. Yes, I still did very well because I bought the right deals. But if I was continuing the same like last year, taking loans, not being careful, not exactly knowing which are my money, what is my profit. I knew what is my profit according to STK, but still I was recycling a lot of money which were not mine, and I believe that all my money are mine. It
Yeah.
might end up really, really bad. But now, only working like growing organically, I might take a loan if just before Q4. I don't know. I will see. Now,
Yeah.
growing organically, I can see clearly how much I can afford in paying, like hiring staff, because that was another problem. I had loads of VAs, loads. Now I only have four. I can see how much I can spend on stock. Like I have a better understanding of my cash flow, if I can say it like that.
No, definitely. And I think that's really important as well because it is a personal growth, isn't it? It is an education. And when you've come from a place where you don't have much money, just like I'm still in the place where I don't have much money. When you've suddenly got a lot of money, of course you're going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I bet that was a hell of a year, by the way. But of course you're going to enjoy yourself. But at the same point as well, the fact that you had the foresight to say, no, this isn't my money, it would have been really easy for you to go into a downward spiral there.
Yes.
The fact that you stopped it, especially if you're competing with, and you know what it's like when you've got a bunch of guys in a room competing about how much everyone's borrowing, for you to say, I'm not borrowing, I'm stopping that lifestyle for the sake of the long term, good for you, mate. That's a hell of an educational growth
Yes.
from where you could have been from. I think you deserve credit for that as well.
Yes. It was hard because my sales have decreased a lot. But to be honest, I feel happier because I had a lot of stress knowing that I have a lot of loans. Last December, I was sued by a company in the United States for selling some toys from Care Bears, if anyone very famous.
Care
Yes.
Bears, yeah.
So I had all my funds frozen, and at what point? So they have frozen all my funds. My account was fine, like the sales were coming in, I could send shipments, everything was perfect, apart of my funds. And I didn't know what was happening until after 2 weeks. So I was sending emails, I was close to go to the press, I was posting on LinkedIn, I was posting on Twitter, calls with seller support, emails, cases. No one could tell me what's happening.
Wow.
And I couldn't disperse. So after 2 weeks, I received an email from Amazon. There was a restriction order issued by a federal court in the United States for selling this brand. This is the email of the attorney of the company. Get in touch with them, get it sorted, then we release the funds. I had to hire a lawyer. In the end, I sorted out. And I said, because that month, it was really bad for me. Like all my funds
Yeah.
frozen. I didn't even have money for my family, like because I don't save money. I was lucky that my friends have sent money to just pay. Like we're talking about £22,000 from people who just virtual friends. But they knew that I'm going to get it sorted and I will pay back. But otherwise, it will be, and that showed me that I need to save money and I need to be careful with the loans. It's good to take loans and invest money, but we need to be careful.
Has it led you down a path where you think as well, I might need to diversify so I'm not reliant on Amazon for just the sole income stream?
Yes, this is something that I'm trying to do. I had a look at TikTok. I even bought a course, spent £5,000. Then I realized it's not for me.
It's not for everyone,
Yes.
mate. It's not. Yeah. I first found you on TikTok.
TikTok, to be honest, I don't really took it serious. I'm posting more personal stuff, nothing serious. But the course I purchased was about drop shipping on TikTok. I said, no, that's not for me. But definitely, I need to look into other source of income. Yeah, definitely, that's something that I should do. I'm trying, but it's hard
Yeah.
to find something that easy like Amazon.
Exactly, and it has to match your values. Again, TikTok isn't for everyone. I totally get it. The money that I'm bringing in on TikTok was inadvertent. It wasn't anything I planned. I just did it to document. When we talk about Emma Hamilton, what I loved most about her page is you can see her starting her journey from like a working class town in Birmingham or just outside Birmingham, and you could see her progress and just wearing nicer clothes, being in nicer places as she gets on. And I thought, I'm doing that. I want to document it. So when I do get to where I need to get to, I can look back and go, look where we've come from. It just so happened that it took off. And the money that I'm getting through brand deals and sponsorships and stuff like that, it is inadvertent. But now I realize how lucky I am that I've got some diversification, It's, really interesting. The other thing that I want to talk about, especially with you, because what's really great and stands out a mile with you is your networking and your community building. And I saw a post you put on your Facebook group, and we'll talk about your Facebook group in a minute, by the way, which is going to be in the show notes. So the link takes everybody straight there. When you said, if I would start again, this is what I would do. And the emphasis you put on networking was vital. It's everything.
Yes.
You probably don't know this, but well, no, you won't know this. But my wife and I, because I knew who you were, and I thought, no, I'm not going to reach out to Ahmed. One of the signs that our group is doing well is if you join it. And when your name popped up, I said, we got him. We're doing all right.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problems. And that's when I reached out to you and said, right, let's get you on the podcast. But talk us through how it was you decided that's how I need to get there. And you kind of alluded to it earlier. Anyway.
To get into network or to start?
Yeah, or to understand the power and the benefit that networking can get you.
When I started selling on Amazon, I started looking for Facebook groups. And I was very active. So I found a group which was Vlad's group, which has been suspended. And I started being very active. This is me natural, like even before being being into social media. Even back home, I was always the main guy who had people around him. Always, like I was the most popular guy in either in school or in neighborhood. So it's a natural thing. Then, of course, I started being very active on Facebook group, but my main goal was to find informations. And as I mentioned, I don't really learn from watching videos. I get the idea, but to really to feel that, okay, that's the correct way to do it, I need someone to tell me. I watched a video a few days ago. I'm so bad at remembering names. Oh, Ed Milet, if anyone knows him. I love this gentleman. And one of the videos, he said he was speaking about not overspending, not wasting money. Like he has hundreds of millions in his bank account, and he said he's trying as much as he can not to buy not even a bottle of water, which is like $5, because he knows that it's overpriced. He's trying not, but he has no other choice. He will buy, but it's a pain for him. And I was thinking, last year I had a bit of money and I just spent like I was the king of Dubai or something. And I knew all this, like nothing new, but I needed him to tell me. I said, okay, this is what I'm going from now on. So this is why I said, okay, this is how I learn things. This is how I understand things. So I need to ask people. So I started doing a lot of networking. By doing a lot of networking, I noticed that people were approaching me, and I started creating I started having my own friends, virtual friends, and that helped me a lot in the business. I didn't know something. I started asking questions. People were helping me, and I was okay. That's the way. If I want to grow, I need to do networking. Because why are you doing networking? To find informations, right? Why you want to find information? To make your life easier. So, okay, this is the way. But it got to a point where I was suspected of taking over the group. Yes, because I was posting too much. And then people were asking questions and they were tagging me instead of owner of the group or someone else.
Yeah.
So I said, the owner of the group reached out to me and said, look, what's happening? Everyone started tagging you instead of tagging me or just not tagging anyone. And it's not your group. I said, okay, but what can I do? What can I do? Just make a post, tell people stop tagging Ahmed, and that's it. And I understood because, it's someone else's group and people are tagging me. It's not really nice, but it wasn't my fault. So I said, I need to start my own group. So I started my own group. And yeah, this is like 2 years ago. I said, I need to do my own thing because I understand it's not nice. I really understood the owner of that group. So I said, okay. But we're still good friends. We're still very, very good friends.
That's good. Yeah, 'cause you were moderator of a couple of groups as well, weren't you?
Yes.
Funny enough, Vlad was one of the first Facebook groups that I joined. And just as I started posting on TikTok, he did a post on his Facebook group that basically said, right, let's share the love. Everybody post what their social media handle is in this comment thread and let's all follow each other. And just as I was starting, I went, right, this is my TikTok. So like one of the first sort of 50 followers I had was Vlad. And I'm like, this is amazing. What a lovely guy. He seems to be a really, really good guy.
He is, yes.
But I'd like to get him on actually, but I've got to reach out to him. But I see his Facebook group suspended, so it's one of those. Well, trying to find another way to contact him. Your group's flying. Where are you now? You're definitely much higher than me.
Okay, so now I have 25,800.
Good for you. In 2 years.
In 2 years, yes, and it's very active. But there is a lot of work, like a lot of sacrifices. I dedicate more time to my Facebook group than to my business. There is a lot involved. First of all, you need to make sure no scams. There is a lot of scamming, a lot of spamming. I ban and delete lots of comments, lots of people. The Facebook group is being targeted a lot. And not only that, being the admin of an active group, your inbox is finished. My inbox is finished right now. So what I started doing is my close friends, they're all on WhatsApp because I get like 10, 15, 20, 30 people messaging me, random people, which I don't know. And then when you have a family member or someone, your wife messaging you on Facebook, your message just goes down the queue. It's always a mess. And there are people who like virtual friends who message me, oh, you became famous now and you're not talking to us. I said, guys, sorry, but this is what is happening. It's a pain. Like my inbox is a pain. So there are lots of sacrifices that you need to do to grow a Facebook group. And this is just the beginning, 26,000. Now my goal by the end of the year is to have 50,000. So that will be even worse. But I already started actually. I hired the social media manager. She's still learning.
Yeah.
And because I said, I need help. If I really want to keep a safe environment in my group, because that's my main goal, then I need to invest a lot of time. But I like it.
Same. So even with the 9,500, I again completely relate to that. My inbox is just a waste of time now. It is ridiculous, and I completely agree with you. I'm so conscious because my group is specifically for beginners. My mantra really is that these people are vulnerable at the moment. Anyone could reach out to them and say, I can get you this. And these beginners that don't know anything, they're really vulnerable, that could easily get scammed. So we have to implement a no DM rule. We kick out so many people for just breaking that rule. And 9 times out of 10, it's genuine offers to help. Oh, I'll DM you. We're like, no, because if we allow those, then DMs will run riot. And as it's a beginners group, the best thing to do is to post in the group publicly so everyone can learn.
Yes.
That's the goal.
Yes.
But policing that, wow.
Yes.
But it just so happens my wife loves it. She's the other admin on the group. She loves it. She can sit on the sofa and just delete comments and kick people out and all of that. But I think that's underestimated how much work that is. We're still trying to grow so much when I'm still in full-time employment and we're trying to get to the place like you where we can leave that. So we're kind of having to prioritize our goals a little bit about what's going to make us the most money before the end of the year.
That's part one. Let's leave it there, shall we? We can kick on next week and we talk about the next steps and the things that he's got in mind. I love this story. And I love the way that Ahmed reflects on himself. And he's really transparent and open about where he went wrong and where he's going forward. The money thing, the spending, I get it. I really get it. And this is where the networking and the conversations make such a difference to me in my journey. Because if it wasn't for speaking to Ahmed and hearing about how he got this influx of money, then decided to live the life before realising, whoa, my business is suffering here, I would have done exactly the same thing. I've never known an influx of money like I've known in these last 24 months. The fact is we've been working towards this plan, so it's not even entered our mind to start going out on holidays yet. Everything's been reinvested in because it was always a 2-year plan. And the beauty of me running the socials the way I did forced me to do that. But now the challenge is over and I'm not so accountable in terms of my money. I don't know if I want to go down that road again. It would be really, really easy for me to go, right, come on, let's have a blowout. But on hearing Ahmed's stories and hearing the other stories from the people that I speak to, it can't be done. It can't be. Why would I work this hard to then go back 5 steps? But it's entirely justifiable if somebody does decide to do that, because we're never used to having this money in this way. And all of a sudden, someone can go, yeah, you can go first class if you want. You think, ooh, how do you turn that down? So I think it's a really, really interesting part of Ahmed's story. And I think it's really, really generous of him to share that. And he is utterly relatable. I relate so much to that guy, not just because we're family men, not just because we've got kids roughly the same sort of age, but we've also got the same mindset when it comes to giving back. I really, really like him. He's a really good guy. And he's one of those guys that I'm glad I met. And I'm glad we're connected now. Let's get into the tip of the week, shall we?
Tip of the week.
I know I banged the drum on this a few times, and I know a lot of these tips of the week are variations of tips of the week gone by, but look at what he's done in his community. Ahmed has given back. So my advice, my tip, is for you to give back. There's one thing to have the information. There's another thing to teach it. Me personally, for me, when I started my Facebook group, I found answering questions embedded my knowledge. It empowered me to learn more. It empowered me to be the person that answers these questions because it's my group. I've got responsibility. Someone says to me, how do I do it? I'm going, oh, I know that. And you answer it. It helps try to build a community as best you can. And you can do it in any other way. It doesn't have to be Facebook like Ahmed and I have done. It doesn't have to be TikTok. It can be any other way that you like. It can just be a gaggle of you. But if you take the responsibility and you say, right, I'll be the one that helps you, it helps you. It embeds the knowledge inside of you. There's one thing to have the knowledge, there's another thing to share it. And then in sharing it, not only do you ingrain that knowledge in you, you also feel empowered because you're helping other people. And I don't care what this society tells us to do. We are trained to hate each other, but inherently it goes against our nature because our nature is to help people. There is no better feeling than giving. And we are told to hate our neighbours. We are told to hate our other social classes. It's just not in our nature. So embrace who you are, embrace the learning, share it out, give it back, and watch what happens.
Tip of the week.
Another show in the bag. Who knows? This time next week, we might have rebranded. I'm not going to count my chickens. You never know. It's all on me, by the way. So I don't know if I'm going to get it done or not. Let's see, shall we? Let's have a cliffhanger. Right. Thank you once again for everybody. Selleramp SAS, thank you for continuing to sponsor the show. Love having you on board still. Everybody else, carry on doing what you're doing. We are climbing. Get up that ladder. Share the word. Let everybody know what we're doing on this show because I want to show the world what's achievable with consistency, with action, with mindset, resilience, determination, blah, 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 blah. You get it all. That's enough of me. Bring in the voiceover. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the rainy summer if you're in the UK. Enjoy the real summer if you're in any other country. All right, take care. Ta-da.
You've been listening to the 200 to 100,000 pounds challenge podcast. Be sure to join us next time for more real talk and undoubtedly terrible jokes as Des gets ever more closer to saying goodbye poor, hello rich. Sponsored by Selleramp. Sourcing analysis simplified. Hey. Just a little reminder that this podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only. It cannot and does not constitute any form of financial advice. We know things are tough for a lot of people right now, so if you need assistance organising your money, please seek the help of a qualified financial advisor. And if it's all getting a bit too stressful, please make sure you talk to someone. Remember, you are not alone, and it's okay to not be okay.